I made a video about modes on the piano, demonstrated it on the keyboard, but now I'm going to do the same thing on guitar, and you can see how the pattern stays the same, but there's quite a lot you can do with it. Here we go. The modes on guitar really are very similar to the piano. The idea is exactly the same. You've just got a different way of saying the same thing. Now, those guitarists amongst you, don't worry that I've got a keyboard here. In fact, if you've got a little keyboard, it's a really good way of observing the theory. Now, I'm going to play in the key of C major because actually on the piano it involves just the white notes. C is at 8th fret on the 6th string here. So the major scale on guitar starts with the second finger, and that's how I'm going to use the fingers. I'm going to number them from 1 to 4. So the second finger, which is your middle one, goes on the 8th fret on the 6th string. And then the scale does this. Always worth practicing scales going up and down. Now, at this stage, we don't want to be just rushing up and down scales playing solos. There's not really any point in that. It doesn't really say anything except, oh yeah, that's a scale and it's played too fast, which it was. Really, what we've got to do is to learn the patterns so that you can play things from that scale. Now, on the piano, we're in the key of C major, so we've got a chord of C. And that scale works over that chord. You can use this scale to improvise over this chord. So C, E and G on the piano gives you your C chord, and then I've got left hand just playing a couple of C's just to bolster it up a bit. Of course, we've got no time bass here at the moment. Now, on GarageBand for iOS, you can program a chord that auto plays in C, so you can have a rhythm, so that you can practice your soloing from a rhythmic and phrased standpoint as well as just the theory. But this video just deals with the theory. So, the next chord up in C major, we have D minor. Now, all that happens on the guitar, the scale is exactly the same, but we begin on the second note of that scale, of the C major scale. So there's your second note. That means that you're going to be starting on your last finger here. Now you could end that scale on the note that you started on, but because actually the guitar is only 2-octave range in one position, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come to end on that top note. It's about the start note that gives you the complexion. And then you can phrase your ideas accordingly. Now, the next chord up, E minor. This gives you the Phrygian mode. The one on D minor was called the Dorian. The one on E is called the Phrygian. Now this sounds a bit weird, and I'm going to play this to you so you can hear it. That second note of the Phrygian on E does grate a little bit, but you can get some quite nice flavours if you use it in the right way. I used it as simply a stepping stone to get to a note that was a little bit more consonant with what you heard there. So either I went up or down from it. So there's your note that's a bit graty. You can use it simply as a stepping stone to get from one place to another. So that's the Phrygian on E. F, which is chord 4 in C major, we have something called the Lydian mode. Now here, the fourth note just sounds a bit weird. It sounds a bit odd. Now that's the good thing about the modes, is that you get all these flavours out of one scale. That's the good bit with it. So we get something of the sharpened fourth instead of the next one up, G, we have the Mixolydian mode. It's good for blues. So if you got excuse that little indiscretion there on the fretboard. We're playing over a blues in G there, but we've still got that C major scale. Now the next one up is another minor one. This is the natural minor. So it's A minor, which is in the key of C major. So the sixth note of that mode does grate a little bit with the E in the A minor chord. It works though. And then the last mode that we've got is the Locrian on B. So we've got this. So it's not something you'd really hang around on. It's the sort of thing that you'd have this. However, the pattern here, it's all based on this major scale. Now, the further up the guitar you go, the more likely it's going to be compatible with every chord, because the guitar is quite bassy. I mean, that C is there. So if you've got your chords here and you're starting to go below the chords, you will start encroaching on the bass. So perhaps it's a good idea to actually practice the scale coming down, so that you get used to more the notes at the top. Ooh. That means it's going to work with any of these chords. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B Locrian. It just works. It absolutely works. So there it is, the guitar related to the piano in those modes in the key of C major.